what is NAR first? NAR, National Association of Realtors. What is the difference between a realtor and a real estate broker?
Pay more money to be in NAR.
You pay more money. Yeah, always. Yeah. All real estate agents are licensed. And then there are brokers who have received additional training who may also then be able to have their own firm or have people work for them. In Washington State, they forced us to a higher standard. They made everyone brokers in Washington State, and they created another designation called the Managing Broker's License for you to be able to run people. I have a Managing Broker's License. But not all real estate agents are a part of the trade organization, the National Association of Realtors. In order to do that, they pay their dues, and they subscribe to a higher level of continuing education and a higher level of ethics. And then they may or may not get involved in the political activities where NAR is fighting on behalf of the industry, at the local level, the state level, and then the national level. But part of those dues go to pay for that. One thing that people don't always know, NAR is one of the largest trade associations in the U.S. They're huge. NAR's peak membership in October of 2022 was 1.6 million, and it's currently dropped to 1.5 million. So we've lost about 100,000 agents there. The Bureau of Labor Statistics has a measure that shows that if you include part-timers in the real estate sector, as of April 2024, we're at 1 million licensed real estate professionals in the U.S. But here's what's crazy. At a transaction run rate of about 4.2 million units. So our transaction run rate right now is the same as it was during the Great Recession. So at 2011, we were also at about 4.2 million. In 2021, when debt was really cheap, we almost hit 6.2. We peaked out at 6.12 million. If you look at this and you just do some quick math, right? And you go, why are agents hurting so bad? Well, you go, okay, there's only 4.2 million transactions.
Per year?
Per year. That's the run rate right now. And there's 1.8 million real estate agents. 4.2 divided by 1.8 gets you 2.33 deals per agent. Let's assume the average agent sold the average house and the median sales price, according to the St. Louis Fed, we talked about this before. The new one for Q1 just came out, $420,800. Let's say they made an average commission of 2.5%, which in this case would be $10,520. Times their 2.33 deals means they're only bringing in $24,511. But the thing you have to remember is when we're talking about commissions, it's just like a contractor. That's the gross amount for the job. So if the contractor said, hey, it's $100,000 to remodel your house, they're not pocketing $100,000. So generally speaking, they're gonna have a split with the brokerage. They're gonna lose 30%. Okay, that drops them to $17,158. Then about 30% of that's gonna go to expenses if they're an individual broker or agent, leaving them about $12,000, $12,011 for the average agent, AKA below the poverty line or get a second job. The Bureau of Labor Statistics did another study and they said, well, how many of these real estate brokers are full-time? They assume there's about 440,000 full-time real estate agents in 2023, which was 72,000 less than the year before. So the industry right now is contracting. Its transaction count is contracting. And then some experts say, this one blew my mind, they believe now due to the NAR settlement, that if commissions go down and with transaction volume being down, that the industry could contract up to 80%.
That's crazy.
It's an astounding number. My thoughts is we'll probably lose about half of the people. And so let's say the industry is about roughly 900,000, which would put you at about, let's assume out of that 900,000, that 450,000 of them are full-time professionals. What I think you really see happening here is because the business has got harder, and now with this NAR settlement, and the NAR settlement is kind of simple. Let's break it down. The NAR settlement is this. Agents were supposedly colluding as a trade group to keep commissions high and inflated. So the settlement is by August of this year, they won't include buyer commissions on the MLS, and the buyer will have to negotiate their own compensation. If that does go through and commissions do go down, then of course the industry will contract more. But another way to think about this is this was all about saving the consumer money. And so another thing I read, Benji, was they were like, well, this means that the average price of a home it's going to go down because it costs less to transact, which logically kind of makes sense. But here's the fundamental flaw there. Go on to, have you ever bought anything off of Facebook Marketplace?
Yes.
And it's a supply and demand game. Housing is about 2.8 million units behind. So we have more demand than supply. So therefore, the seller doesn't have to reduce their price. The seller will just mark it up to whatever they can get, which they did for weights during COVID, and somebody will buy it, which is happening right now because in the face of the high sevens across the US, home prices have risen. And even here in the Seattle Metro, they've outperformed what we thought they were going to do. So this notion that this is going to save the consumer money is 1,000% incorrect. The seller may be able to pocket a little bit more,